Welcome everyone. We are going to talk about Old Man and the Sea. This is one of the most famous novels of last century. It has sold millions of copies. If we go by the length, this is one of the smallest mini novel you could say, having less than 100 pages, but it created sensation. It also helps Ernest Hemingway to grab Nobel Prize for Literature. Today, we will discuss about this very small novel. Instead of wasting our time, let's go directly to our topic, Old Man and the Sea. If we look at the first page, then we are having this novel, Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. In the background, you can see the sea. It is life giver to many people, and we can fetch fish and other eating things from here. And the novel is all about how an old man went into an adventure and catch a marlin fish, then attacked by sharks, and finally able to reach at the shore. Let's start. If we look at the history, Old Man and the Sea, it is written in the year 1951 in Cayo Blanco, Cuba. Published in the year 1952, dedicated to Charlie Scribner and Mark Perkins, who is also the editor of Ernest Hemingway. The same novel is awarded Pulitzer Prize for Fiction 1953. Pulitzer is most famous award of America, given in different areas, and literature is one among them. At first glance, story appears to be an extremely simple story, an old Cuban fisherman, Santiago, who catches an enormously large fish and loses it again. That is very ordinary story on the simple plane, but this story is having so many morals and inspiration, and the struggle how an old person is fighting to get back his lost honor, at least in case of the villagers. In the older civilization, if you are living around the sea and you have not been able to catch a fish, then you will not be respected by people. And such is the story of this, and the old man is on hunt, not only for fish, marlin, or his fighting with shark, but also for his respect. And that is the main adventure of the story. And if you look at adventure, then adventure are also called nautical fiction, naval fiction, sea fiction, naval adventure fiction, or maritime fiction. Apart from this, adventure novel having some characteristics. If you go back to the older time, then sea is always there, then a mariner is there. There are fighting with the different kind of creatures, animal, monsters, and then the victory of the hero. And in that sense, you could have Homer's Odyssey, in which Odysseus was forced to spend 10 years in sea, and he met a different kind of supernatural environment. Magic and trickery are also there, and that happens in that. It comes in the classical kind of nautical fiction. Similarly, Alif Laila, which is part of Shahrazad 1001 Nights, is having something like that. There are jinn, merman, and other kind of things that we have in this. And there is also a brave person who fight with the monsters, sea animals, large animals like shark and other. And this is how they do things. And same is applicable on English literature with Beowulf, for the considered as the first epic of English. And here we too have Beowulf, who fight with the sea monster, Grendel monster, his mother, and finally a dragon, fire-spitting dragon. But that is the older sense. And if we come to the 18th century, somewhere around, then the adventure fiction is bit changed, and we are having Robinson Crusoe, which is about Robinson's life spent somewhere around 28 years on a lonely island after a shipwreck. And here he has to spend maximum of his time alone. And luckily one day he sees some Calibans are trying to eat a black person. And he went there and saved him. And he named him Friday because he was found on the day Friday. And that is more like a realistic element. Although Jonathan Swift Gulliver Travels is a bit different, that is showing a kind of classical time where you are having different kind of islands where inhabitants are small, 6 inches. On the other, there are somewhere like giants, and in the third, flying island, and in the fourth, animals are speaking. So everything is there in Gulliver Travels, and we can compare the classical adventures. And the similar way in the Romantic era, we are having Rime of Ancient Mariners, S.T. Coleridge, published in 1798 in the lyrical ballads. A joint venture of William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge. It was the same poem that opens the lyrical ballads, and having story of a mariner who killed albatross, and there was curse on him that he that albatross was hanged around his neck. And later on, when the curse is removed, he has to tell his story to every passerby. And in the next century, we are having Herman Melville's Moby Dick, which is again a story in which a person is going to hunt a shark called Moby Dick, and that is whole of around sea and animals. And perhaps it is Herman Melville's Moby Dick that our novel, The Old Man and the Sea, is loosely based. In the recent time, we are having Jan Martel's Life of Pi, which is again a sea adventure where hero Pi is with a lion, tiger and a zebra and a hyena, and later on only two survive animal, that lion, tiger, and that like Pi. And this is how they do things. And if you want more adventure novel, then Caribbean or Pirates of Caribbean is a interesting work. It is also adapted into movie. And now I hope adventure novel is a term is in your mind. And these are few examples that we have. And if we look at our story, that old man is on hunt or trying to catch the Merlin fish. And if you look at the size of this Merlin fish, it is very powerful, lengthy, and having a very big body. And sometimes its weight could go 1,000 kilogram, and that is very huge amount. And it is nearly impossible for one person to catch this fish by his own hand, especially when the person is old man whose body is weak and the confidence is nearly zero. And without sources, he catch this fish because he lost maximum of things in this fighting with this person. And it is a giant person. It is also a symbol in the novel. And if we again look at its size, and this you can see its size, it is not an ordinary fish, and not easy to catch it, at least by a simple person. And here you can see the Merlin struggling with the strings that is on his nose or hook. That is the kind of things. But if we go with the background of the story, then this old man and the story is loosely based on real life incident of Ernest Hemingway. George Fuentes, who many critics believe was inspiration for San Diego, is a blue-eyed man and first mate of boat Pillar. This boat Pillar is a boat that Ernest Hemingway purchased, and it is named after his second wife, Pauline. And Pauline was her nickname. If we go with this Fuentes, then he was born in Lanzarote in the Canary Island. He went into sea at the age of 10, and later he migrated permanently to Cuba at the age of 22. After spending some 82 years in Cuba, in 2001, he attempted to reclaim his Spanish citizenship. And if we look at him, then he is one of those rare person who at least 100 years on this earth. And if we go with this Ernest Hemingway and Mike Henry Stratters with the remaining, and they were on hunt to catch a fish, and luckily they catch Merlin. But when they find it was attacked by shark and they try to save it, what happened? That blood of shark attract more shark, and what they have is the thing that we have in pictures, only the half. And you can see that fish original weight was expected 100 lbs, somewhere around 500 kg, but what they have is somewhere around 226 kg. This is you could say half, and half of the Merlin was eaten by a shark. And this incident happened in the year 1935 in Bahamas, somewhere around Bahamas. And now you could say somewhere around 16 years later, this original novel, Old Man and the Sea, was written. And this you have how it was mistake of Hemingway when he used a Thompson machine gun to attack on shark, and luckily the blood in water melt and attract more shark. And this incident can also be compared, and Gregory of Fantus was the person that we have in life and can be compared with the original Santiago of this novel. And now if you look at the very opening, then the very opening of the novel explains he was an old man who fished alone in a scuff in a Gulf Stream and had gone 84 days now without taking a fish. In the first 40 days, a boy had been with him. But after 40 days without a fish, the boy's parent had told him that the old man was now definitely and finally slow, which is the most or the worst form of unlucky. And the boy had gone at their orders in another boat which caught 3 good fish in the first week. And this is the line or the very opening that is telling the tale of the life of old man who is unable to catch a fish in last around 3 months, because his old age was one of the things that we could say, but still the person is active and he is eager. And to reclaim his owner, he went deep in the sea on the 85th day. The main reason behind that, he wanted to show to the villagers that he is still a fisherman and he can gain several things, and which makes other unhappy or happy. All in all, he wants that other people should talk about him and respect him. And that's why he was on hunt on 85th day. Either he will die in the sea or either he will regain his respect. If we look at the older summary or the smaller summary of the poem, then San Diego is an aged but experienced fisherman, but now it has gone 84 days without catching a fish. He is termed as slow. Slow means salty, the worst form of unlucky. In the first 40 days, Manolin was with him. Manolin is a boy, his companion, but his parent forced him to go to a luckier boat. On 85th days, he went deep in the sea and catches powerful Merlin. You can see Merlin in the picture, and we have seen this Merlin earlier on. And he fight with this Merlin for 3 days, and finally this Merlin grows tired and San Diego kills it. The battle between man and fish, we can say, lasted for 3 days. And we can also compare with the biblical scene here. And even this victory does not mean that Santiago win the battle. He is still far, far out in the sea because he went too far. To make matter worse, Santiago drags Merlin behind the boat. And the blood from the dead fish attracts us, because when you are hitting harpoon, he is having harpoon in his hand, and if it is attacked on the body of fish, then definitely blood will come out and it attracts sharks. And But he tried to beat the sharks away, but he is not having enough swords and weapons, and shark eat the flesh of Merlin. And San Diego is left only with the bones, or you could say skeleton, just skeleton. San Diego gets back to shore, weary and tired, with nothing to show for his pains, but the skeleton remains of a large Merlin, and that was enough. Because for respect, you have no need to show that you have catch a fish, but even the skeleton was proof that he had a very bad time at sea, and he fought ruthlessly to these animals and sharks. With just bare remains of the fish, the experience had changed him. The altered perception others have of him, and now they started respecting him. Manly wakes him the morning after his return and suggests that they will fish once more together, and now both are united. And if you look at the beginning, both the boy and old man were separated, and now they are united, which means he has get what he want, respect from the people. And if you look at this, the old man is without sources, and he is having that here we have that he is having few things with him, and like this working that with which he run the boat, and here is a mast and harpoon he lost with the fight, and some other things in that engines, and very small boat, and this large fish he is having there. So he is having several things with him, but these are not enough for him, because he is not able to catch it fish and fight with it for 3 days, and old man without strength. So it was not easy for him to catch or hunt it, yet he tried and remained successful. But it was not easy for him. Like this Merlin was very powerful. He pushed the old man with him for 3 days, because he is attached with this, and he is burning his head with the rope. But it was very powerful, and he spent 3 days with this Merlin, and she is dragging not only the old man but also his boat, and this is how things are going from bad to worse. And 3 days he spent with it, and in the name of weapon he is having just limited swords, some harpoon and others, which he lost with the fight. But the worst is yet to come, and he has to fight with shark. If you look at the picture, then these are very cute and innocent animals, but these are called lions of sea. Their main business is to kill animals to feed their hunger, and same happened, and they can smell blood from larger distance, several kilometers. And when old man attacked Merlin with that harpoon, the blood spread, and sharks smell, and there were large number of sharks attack on him. And now earlier the old man fought with Merlin, and now unnumbered sharks were there. So what he can do? Nothing. And in the picture you can see old man is fighting with the sharks, and everywhere blood, and there are sharks, they are eating their mouth, and here are some birds and sharks, and the sharks and birds, everything is there, another shark, and they are eating here. He had tied Merlin, and here you can see and how they are attacking. This shark attacking here, and everything. So whatever he left, either this tail, he left this tail and this portion, because it was attached here, and rest this body to here was eaten by the sharks, and what he has is just the skeleton. So every time you have nothing, and this must remain helpful to guide him. And this stick, or you can say harpoon he has, but later on he also lost it. And what we have is just a skeleton, and this is not skeleton that we have, but you can just compare it and only that left and rest is skeleton we are having here. To be more precise, this is expected to be the portion left with the old man, and this one, and this is just the tail. And here you can see the symbols, and DiMaggio is there, old man is here with this, and you can see here the Merlin fish remaining parts, and sad face of old man is also here. You can see, and what is the more portion that the skeleton is shown here, and symbols are also portrayed. Lions are here, sharks are here, and here you are having this shark, which is very cruel, in fact, and other fishes are also there. So this is thing that we have, but things are not ending here. It is one of the most inspiration novel, and several quotes are here. And he was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in Gulf Stream and had gone 84 days without having a fish. Now, without taking a fish is the very opening, which is one of the most famous openings. And later on, he say, anyone can be a fisherman in May, but man is not made for defeat. Now the inspiration is coming. He said, a man can be destroyed but not defeated. And this is how he consoled himself while fighting with the Merlin and sharks, and let him think that I am more man than I am, and I will be so. This is how you are inspiring yourself and giving you confidence to fight with those. And I may not be as strong as I think, but I know many tricks and I have resolution. Yeah, definitely. And it is silly not to hope. It is a sin, he thought. Yeah, of course. And it is good that we do not have to try to kill the sun or the moon or the stars. It is enough to live on the sea and kill our true brothers. And now he is saying that we are happy that we are not killing other natural phenomena. Rather, we are here to kill just the animals on the sea, because he called them true brothers, and they give them everything. You did not kill the fish only to keep alive and to sell food, he thought. You killed him for pride, and now this is the pride that he is fighting for, because you are a fisherman. You loved him, definitely you love and respect him. When he was alive, and you loved him after. If you love him, it is not a sin to kill him, and this is how he is trying to justify his action. It more. And if we go by the symbols in this novel, because symbols play an important role everywhere, and the first symbol that we are having is San Diego, and or the symbol of Christ. And in this novel, the old man is often compared to Christ in the way he faced Merlin. Manolin is the another symbol, the old that young boy with the old man. He is a symbol of compassion and love. He compared old man to Christ, for he is a teacher to him. He educate him how to fish in the sea. And both Manolin and San Diego, there is a father-son relationship, or you can say master-slave relationship. Both cannot live without one another. And in the end, too, Manolin is back to San Diego. Merlin is another symbol that symbolizes the ideal opponent, large, big, and powerful. Both are in a world, both means Manolin and San Diego are in a world where everything kill everything else in some way. And that is very truth. And Manolin also hunts smaller fish in the same way San Diego hunt. And next, the sea symbolizes life and struggles that every living creature is destined to endure. Old man faces all challenges alone and overcome by his own. So all the difficulties everyone has to follow by his own. No one is going to be there to help you take out of that problem. And this is what the novel is also advising through the symbol of sea. And shark are the obstacles in life against hurdle in achieving the labor. Life is not easy. There are some people who will not allow you to get the fruit of success easily, they always disturb the peace of mind and force you to not to go in this way that it should be. And sharks representing those animals, and next is the lions that symbolize youth of old men. And lions are taking old man's imagination to the young age when he is active like a lion, and even the novel ends with lions as the old man was dreaming about lions. DiMaggio symbolized through pain and suffering and how to defeat them, as he is a motivation. DiMaggio was a that baseball player, and in the year somewhere around 1934, he broke his knee, and it was expected that he cannot win, come back and play the games, but he survived that injury, come back and create several records, and even today he is one of the most respected baseball players, and his records are not broken till date. And like that, San Diego, DiMaggio is the same, or you can say, like the DiMaggio enters again in life, as San Diego too do the same. He lost his respect, then goes back on 85th day and regain his respect. And this is how you can compare DiMaggio and San Diego. And this is what we have. But before we end, there are something that we have for inspiration in this novel. These are some important lines. And Fist, he said softly aloud, I will stay with you until I am dead. No one should be alone in their old age, he thought, and that is most important that we have here. And Fifth, he said, I love you and respect you very much, but I will kill you dead before this day. And this is how to achieve your target and fixing something kind of resolution. He no longer dreamed of storms, nor of women, nor of great occurrence, nor of great fists or fight, nor contents of strength, nor of his wife. He only dreamed of places now and lions on the beach. They played like stone cats in dusk and loved them as he loved the boy. He never dreamed about the boy. He simply woke, looked out the open door and the moon, and unrolled his trouser and put them on. And next, my big fist must be somewhere. Most important line. Perhaps I should not have been a fisherman, he thought, but it was the thing I was born for, because the people decided to change their profession. But he's saying, no, I am just for that. And most important, if sharks came, then God pity on him and on me. And this is what we have, Old Man and the Sea, which is one of the most important novel, and it creates several records that we have, and even go by the small, very small novel, and yet it is considered one of the strongest novel of last century. And if we check this very opening page, that is telling the same thing. And but if you start reading this novel, it will hardly take 2 to 3 hours to finish this book, and was not very easy. So I recommend you to read this book. And with this say, thank you, take care. We will meet again with some other works.